So for my stack knife handle on my dagger, I took the guard, traced out a little bit bigger than that on this old chunk of Latigo, cut some circles. We're going to stack them and see how it goes. Okay, we got all of the pieces cut out of the Latigo, the rough shape of the hand guard there. So now we're just going through and setting this on there, and got a nice little file tail to stick it through there and make a scratch mark, and then we'll cut them and slide them over. One thing I noticed right away, that on the TV when I watch like Forged in Fire, when they make these stack leather handles, they use quite a bit of edge around it, and I thought, oh, I can do a lot tighter than that. Probably a mistake. Probably should leave yourself more than you think, just to make them a lot easier to position, and then you grind them to shape. It's going to be a little tricky with the tiny margins I left to get it to work right. Got some of these rings dry fitted on there. We've got to make sure we have enough, and then we have a few left over because I'm sure we're going to get a little compression. Now it's time to finish up our guard piece, get it a little more symmetrical. Weld on our cap screw here, and then once we get this guard symmetrical, we'll finish out this one and make sure it matches, and then we'll be ready to start gluing it together. Okay, it's time to mix up some epoxy and see what happens. We're going to slather it on each piece as we slap it on there and screw it on down. Let's see. All right, there it is, all stacked up and glued up. Use the tube and a little bit more of this Gorilla Glue 2-part epoxy clear. We'll let it set overnight. Maybe try to do a little grinding on it tomorrow and see what happens. Well, it comes off a little slower than I anticipated, which is good. I was worried that it would come off way fast, and you'd have to be very careful not to gouge it too much. But it comes off slow enough. You can take your time and work a shape into it. It's going slower than I thought, but maybe that's good. So after a couple hours of trying some different things, used my little bench sander to take off some, and actually used the horseshoe rasp and a rat tail file. Actually helped to get a lot of the shape in once we got the big blocking material off. And I found out the little high-speed flapper wheel from my flat grinder put a nice little burnish on it, kind of like that. So still a lot of finished work to go, but we're getting there. Maybe we'll make a little spiky thing for the end, and we're making progress. All right, there's a look at my first leather stack handle completed and polished. Learned quite a few things on how to do it. Well, kind of fun. So there you go. Knife's turning out, got the edges roughed in, just a little final sharpening, and we'll have it done.